Have you ever had a crazy idea? And by crazy, I don't mean ridiculous, but an idea, when you hear it or it pops in your mind, you know it can make a difference for you or for your teams. But it's a crazy idea because you realize when you hear it, just to begin to realize the potential of the idea, you're gonna have to stretch your comfort zone or maybe upset a few people. I remember the first crazy idea I ever had. I was 15 when I picked up the electric guitar, and a young man was playing the national anthem at Woodstock, Mr. Jimi Hendrix. Do we have any Hendrix fans in the house? And I remember sitting there and it just popped in my mind. I thought, well, what if I played the national anthem at our basketball games? And let me explain a little bit about our basketball games in the school I went to at the time. Little Catholic high school in Bardstown, Kentucky. So playing the national anthem was definitely outside the scope of normal. But before I could talk myself out of it, I threw myself in front of the school board. I remember that evening the arena was absolutely empty except for the 12 school board members right in front of me. And the king of the school board spoke up and said, "Manley, go ahead and give it a shot, Mr. Ice." I swear I did not make up that name. He said, "Let's hear what you got, son." I said, okay, so I played it as straight, as simple as I could, and then the last couple notes, I remember finishing it up. Started to express myself a little bit on that note right there. "Stop!" Mr. Ice had spoken again. He said, "Hold on a second, we're gonna huddle up here." 3 minutes felt like 30. Finally, he breaks the silence. He said, "Well, young man, this is a crazy idea, no question, but you know, this year the basketball team's been struggling a little bit." I remember thinking, well, we struggle every year, but I didn't say a word. So, "Yes, sir." He said, "Well, we're going to have 3 rules here. We want you to try this, actually, but 3 simple rules for you. Number 1, we only want you to play at the 10 biggest basketball games." I said, "Okay, yes, sir, sounds like a good plan." He said, "Number 2, I want it straight and simple, and none of that wiggle you did at the end." I said, "Wiggle?" He said, "Wiggle." "Oh, yeah, no wiggle." "Yes, sir, no wiggle." He said, "And lastly, no rock and roll shenanigans, young man. Do you understand me?" I said, "Yes, sir, Mr. Ice, you got it." So I go back home, practice. First game of the year, play the national anthem note for note. I remember walking in the door that evening, and my mother was there to greet me as usual. She gave me a big hug, and always a kiss on the cheek to see if I'd been drinking any of that bourbon. A little sniff test, passed that. We sat down on the couch. She said, "How'd it go?" I said, "Well, it was fine. It went well, I played it." And she said, "What do you mean fine?" Like any great leader, she always followed up with a question. Helped me stretch to the next level. I said, "Well, I don't know. I think I actually have a crazy idea, Mom, but I don't even know how to do it or what I would use to do the equipment or if it would be okay to do it." She said, well, tell me more about it. I said, "The idea is this, Mom. You know Eddie Van Halen that blares on the stereo all the time?" She said, "Yeah." And I said, "You remember Jimi Hendrix?" The other night we were watching. She said, "Yeah." I said, "Well, what if Jimi Hendrix and Eddie Van Halen came together and played the national anthem?" She said, "At your school?" I said, "Yes, ma'am." She said, "What's Mr. Ice going to think about that?" We went around and around about that. At the end of the night, she said, "Son, listen, sometimes you're going to have to ignore a few to win the hearts of many." So I picked Homecoming. That evening, the arena was packed to the top. The energy was exploding in the room, and everybody was ready to rock and roll. And I stepped up in the middle of the auditorium, and I played it a little bit differently. It went like this.
I attend a lot of events my entire career. He's one of the best I've ever heard.
How he was able to bring the props on the set really got your attention, brought you back when you were a kid, made you go forward as an adult, made you want to think about new ideas when you go back to work.
I think it was very inspirational. I've been hearing many keynote speakers for last 8-10 years, and Manley is right there at the top.
He's very genuine, he has a lot of passion for what he does, but what I really liked is he's a mountain climber and he's done all these amazing things, but he made it really relatable to the audience. As thinking of myself as leading a team, what can I go back and tangibly take some of his messaging and apply it to my day-to-day life?
I had no idea that courage is contagious. When you start living that way with that mindset, you grow your influence and your impact, and your team's watching you. And then they start stepping up. You start showing up differently, start standing out and bringing more of your passion to the table. When you step up in that way, you start getting recognized for your excellence. And perhaps most importantly, imagine walking in your home at the end of the day with a little more left over for those who love and need you most. That is worth it.